Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our little podcast space where we talk slowly, honestly, and from the heart. Today, we are going to talk about something many learners dream about, and that is how to speak English like a native speaker, but in a natural and realistic way.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to be here again. And I want to say first that this topic makes me feel both excited and nervous because speaking like a native speaker used to feel impossible to me, like something very far away.
That's very honest, Jame, and I think many people feel the same way. Because when we hear native speakers talking fast, using slang, laughing easily, we sometimes feel small or afraid.
Yes, I remember when I first listened to podcasts from the United States or the United Kingdom, I understood maybe only 50%, and I felt frustrated and even a little embarrassed.
I understand that feeling very well, because even as a teacher, I had moments when I compared myself to others, and comparison can quietly take away our confidence.
For me, the biggest problem was pronunciation, because I always thought that if my accent was not perfect, people would judge me or think I was not smart.
That is such a common fear. But today, I want to say something important. Speaking like a native speaker does not mean losing your identity or your accent. It means speaking clearly, confidently, and naturally.
When you say that, it makes me feel more relaxed because maybe the goal is not to sound exactly American or British, but to sound comfortable and clear.
Exactly. And clarity is more important than perfection, because communication is about connection, not about showing that you are perfect.
I think one of my mistakes in the past was that I focused too much on grammar rules and not enough on real conversation. So I knew many rules, but I could not speak smoothly.
That is very normal, especially for students who learn English in school, because schools often focus on exams, writing, and grammar exercises, but real speaking needs practice with real emotions.
Yes, I remember I could write essays, but when someone asked me a simple question like, "What did you do yesterday?" I would stop and think for a long time.
That pause is not a failure. It is just your brain working in a second language, and that takes time, patience, and kindness to yourself.
One thing that helped me recently was listening to slow podcasts every day while walking, because I realized that my ears needed training before my mouth could speak better.
That is beautiful advice, because listening is the foundation of speaking. And when you listen often, your brain slowly learns the rhythm, the melody, and the natural expressions of English.
I also started repeating sentences out loud even when I was alone in my room, and at first I felt a little silly, but later I noticed that my pronunciation became smoother.
Repeating is powerful, and many learners do not use it enough because they think it is too simple. But simple methods are often the most effective.
Sometimes I record my voice on my phone, and when I listen again, I hear mistakes, but I also hear improvement, and that makes me proud.
That is such a healthy mindset, because instead of being angry at your mistakes, you are observing them gently. And growth comes from awareness, not from self-criticism.
I think another important thing is learning common phrases, not only single words, because native speakers often use short expressions that come naturally.
Yes, that is called learning chunks of language, and it helps you sound more natural, because you are not building every sentence from zero.
For example, I learned phrases like "to be honest," "at the end of the day," and "I guess," and now they come out of my mouth more easily.
Those small phrases make your speech sound relaxed and real, and they also give you time to think while speaking.
Before, I tried to use very difficult words to sound smart, but sometimes I used them in the wrong way, and that made me more nervous.
Using simple words clearly is much better than using complicated words incorrectly, because communication is about being understood, not about impressing people.
There was a moment in my life when I talked to a foreign traveler in my city, and I was shaking a little, but we talked for 20 minutes, and he understood me.
That must have felt amazing.
Yes, after that conversation, I felt something change inside me, because I realized I did not need to be perfect to connect with someone.
That experience is very powerful, because real conversations build real confidence, and confidence cannot come only from books.
I also think that mindset is important, because when I tell myself I am bad at speaking, I feel more nervous. But when I say I am improving every day, I feel calmer.
Our inner voice matters so much, and if we speak kindly to ourselves, we create a safe space to grow.
Jenny, do you think watching movies helps to speak like a native speaker?
Yes, but I suggest watching with intention, not just for fun, because you can choose one short scene, Listen carefully, pause, and repeat the sentences slowly.
So it is better to study one scene deeply instead of watching the whole movie quickly?
Exactly, because deep practice builds stronger habits than fast and passive watching.
I also started thinking in English during small daily activities, like when I cook or clean, and at first it was difficult, but now it feels more natural.
Thinking in English is a beautiful step because it reduces translation time in your brain, and that makes your speaking faster.
Sometimes I still feel shy in front of fluent speakers because they speak so fast and use jokes I do not understand.
It is okay to feel shy, but remember that even native speakers do not understand everything, and humor can be cultural.
That makes me feel less alone.
You are never alone in this journey, and every learner has moments of doubt, even the ones who sound very confident now.
I like that this journey is not about becoming someone else, but about becoming a stronger version of myself.
That is such a beautiful sentence, Jame, and I hope our listeners remember that speaking like a native speaker is not about copying, but about communicating with heart and clarity.
If I could give one practical tip, it would be to practice speaking every day, even for 5 minutes, because small daily effort creates big change.
And my advice would be to listen deeply, repeat kindly, and celebrate small improvements, because progress is often quiet but real.
Today when I speak, I still make mistakes, but I do not stop, and that is a big difference from the past.
Mistakes are signs that you are brave enough to try, and bravery is more important than perfection.
Sometimes I imagine my future self speaking confidently in meetings, interviews, or even on a stage, and that image motivates me.
Visualizing your future success can guide your daily practice because your mind moves toward what it believes is possible.
For anyone listening who feels stuck, I want to say that improvement is not always fast, but it is real if you continue.
Yes, growth is like planting a seed. You water it every day, and even if you cannot see it growing, something is happening under the soil.
That image makes me feel calm.
Good, because learning should not only be hard work, it should also be gentle and hopeful.
I'm grateful that I did not give up when I felt embarrassed in the past, because now I can see how far I have come.
And we are proud of you, and proud of every listener who continues to practice even when it feels uncomfortable.
Maybe the real meaning of speaking like a native speaker is speaking with confidence, kindness, and connection.
I agree. And remember that your voice matters, your story matters, and your accent tells the world where you come from.
Thank you, Jenny, for this calm and honest conversation, because it reminds me that learning English is not a race.
Thank you, Jame, for your honesty and courage. And thank you to everyone listening quietly somewhere in the world right now.
Keep going, even if your steps are small.
Keep practicing, even if your voice shakes a little. Keep believing, even if progress feels slow. And remember, you are not trying to become perfect. You are becoming confident, and that is something truly beautiful.
We believe in you.
Yes, we truly do. Until next time, take a deep breath, speak one sentence in English today, and be proud of yourself for trying.